Right, that was Fifth Harmony with Boss, playing on the station that's all about you, 88.5 UFM. I feel like this song is super apt for the person I have in my chair. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, someone dear to me. Okay, she's not just any old guest too. Yeah, she's super, super important. I've got Dr. Danielle Adewusi sitting in my chair today. Good afternoon, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Francis.
She's a medical doctor, founder of Scrub the Stigma, and she is currently in the running for the Miss Universe Nigeria crown. Now, beyond all of this, she does so much more, and we will be unpacking that, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's
welcome,
a pleasure
welcome.
to be here.
You do quite a lot of things.
I try.
Yeah, and now you're currently in the running for the crown, Miss Universe Nigeria crown, okay?
Wow.
Now, beyond the work that you do, when I think about medical doctors, right, I just imagine multi-stage, journey, preparation, intense academic work, practical training, and with all of this, you have a lot more going on.
Yes.
When do you sleep?
Do you know what's really funny? Sleep is such a priority for me.
Okay.
I think it's the foundation.
All right.
So I try my best to sleep on time, to have a good routine, and with that foundation, I'm able to do everything else that I want to do. So I don't compromise about sleep around here.
She's making it sound super easy. But before we get into all of this, Dr. Danielle, talk to me about the very beginning. I'd like to go to the genesis of, the person that I'm talking to. Talk to me about little Danielle.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I've always been tall. So little Danielle didn't exist for very long. I was always the tallest in the class. And my mum actually said to me when I was very young about my height that you were made to stand out, so don't ever try and fit in. And that's something I've never forgotten. And I think that's why I do all that I do now, because I had, again, that sort of foundation.
Okay.
So I've always been super ambitious. When I was about 6, I said I wanted to be a doctor and an actress.
Right.
Not really knowing what either entailed, but knowing that I wanted to help people and also knowing that I wanted to be on stage. That acting never grew into more. Obviously, the medicine did. But, stages have come, and I'm praying that another global stage is on the way.
Of course it is. Now, I'm going to ask now, was it always medicine, like you mentioned? You wanted to do medicine and acting, but what pushed you in that direction?
I was always academic. So you know how every mother or father was top of their class? I promise you I was.
You were?
I was genuinely top of my class.
There's evidence.
And, it's a stable job, and I was just blessed to actually enjoy what I do, enjoy the people aspect, enjoy the, academic rigor of it as well. And I'm quite disciplined, to see it through. So I wanted to practice medicine before I truly understood what it was. And I was just very blessed to end up enjoying it.
Wonderful. Now you've got a degree in medicine and psychology, both from King's College London.
Yes, that's
come through
correct.
Russell Group. Come through, yes.
Shout out to Kings.
I can only imagine how tedious that was. Now you've taken your work as a doctor just past the hospital.
Yes.
What made you think that it's going to be, have a significant impact on women and healthcare and education with this work that you do?
Yeah, during medical school was when I properly understood the barriers to healthcare that women and girls face. And I just didn't think enough was being done.
Okay.
And my initial thought was, I'm going to be the best doctor I can be. I'm going to listen to my patients. I'm going to advise them well. I'm not going to, gaslight them or delay care, because I'm going to make sure that I am up to date with, the medical knowledge and take into consideration cultural factors and economic factors and things like that. But I realized that I could only impact the women that I would see personally. And there are so many women beyond those who see, medical professionals that have an interest in this. And I wanted to think about how I could impact and affect them. And for me, the foundation, that's my key word for today, the foundation is education.
Okay.
So with my charity, with Scrub the Stigma, one of our main pillars, our core pillars, is education. And that is going into schools, that is educating communities, that is helping women and girls to have access to knowledge that can potentially improve their quality of life and prevent disease.
So you talked about education, heavy on that. What does that look like in practical terms, the education program on ground for women?
Yes. Oh, it's fantastic. It's before I get into what it is, just a joy in my life. It's such a privilege to be able to do what I do through the charity. So we have our Educate programs, which is bringing women's health directly into schools. So across the board, women's health education is lacking, you know, and there's not enough emphasis placed on it. So I thought, why not, you know, provide these workshops directly into schools. So this year we hosted Educate Lagos, we hosted Educate Edo, where we went to secondary schools in these states and delivered education. Anything from menstrual hygiene to knowing what is normal, what is abnormal. And once you realize that, who you can go to for help and how to ask for help. So that's all really important.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that you mentioned how to ask and who you can go to, because sometimes you know who you can go to, but you don't have access. Maybe that's another issue. A lot of, I feel for me personally, right, let me just say that women have been handed the short end of the stick in society for the longest time. So be it in healthcare, education, I don't know, place of work, marriages even, but that's a totally different conversation. So it's really amazing that you're really championing this cause and doing the work to push that forward. Now, I'd like to ask again, because I mentioned earlier on that you have 2 degrees and you do a lot of other things.
Yes.
You founded this charity whilst you were still in school.
Yes.
People barely get through school. Okay, so what was that like?
It was intense. It was intense. But it started off as just a single event. I didn't envision it becoming a charity at all.
Okay.
We were just fundraising to support an organization that supports survivors of FGM, domestic violence, and acid attacks. And I've always been the friend that organizes the birthdays, that organizes the events. I think that's a skill that I have, being able to bring people together and really host something that they will enjoy. So I knew that I could host an event where people would learn about women's health and come out saying that was so much fun, I can't wait for the next one. And also, come out learning a lot. So the first event was during med school. It was Scrubs themed. The name actually came after. So it was Scrubs themed, scrubbing the stigma on women's health. We had speakers, we had food, we had games, and it was such a great event that people kept talking about it. People kept talking about Scrub the Stigma. One event led to another, led to outreach initiatives and things like that, and here we are.
Well done. Really inspiring. So now I'll just make a bit of a segue to your other sides, because you touched on the fact that you are the person who always, put stuff together. Maybe that's just like one of your many talents, right? So outside of medicine and, the work that you do with advocacy and women's health and education, what other sides are there to Dr. Danielle?
There is the whole creative, artistic side of me as well. I model, I'm obviously in a pageant currently, and I've had a natural hair business, a hair braiding business called Slayed by Danielle. What else do I do?
Catch it.
I'm a mentor.
You're a classically trained pianist and cellist.
That is correct. I studied at the Guildhall School of Music. So
Making the rest of us feel like we're working with 4 brain cells.
Impossible for you, Francis. Impossible.
Because how? Again, I'm trying to get a mental picture of, what your calendar looks like, what the scheduling is like, how much of yourself you're giving to these different avenues and at what times and why, That just seems like a lot to unpack.
It is a lot. I'm incredibly organized. That is something that is imperative to everything that I do. I also love all the things that I do, so it would have been more of a struggle to try and give something up. During medical school, that's something I kept hearing, that you do all these incredible things, but it won't last forever, or you're going to have to stop this when you get to 5th year, 6th year, when you qualify as a doctor. And I just refused. There's a reason why I have so many passions, and I really believe that women shouldn't have to limit themselves into one box like society tells us. So I'm hoping that I'm an example of that.
Absolutely inspiring. Now let's touch on the fact that pageantry and medicine are like worlds away. What about this made you think, okay, I can find myself somewhere in the middle?
You would think that they're worlds away, but for me, it's not as different as it may seem.
Okay.
I think with medicine, the whole aim is to improve someone's quality of life, to help treat, to help heal. And I think pageantry is an avenue for that. And that is exactly why I am competing, because I want to further the work that we do in Scrub the Stigma. I want women's health education to be everywhere, to not be an afterthought, but to be, a primary focus. So yes, and actually during med school is when I concretely decided that I would compete in Miss Universe, because again, with everyone telling me you can't do this, you can't do that, I actually sat down one day and listed out everything I enjoy, everything I'm good at, and said, well, if influencing didn't exist 10 years ago, then maybe my dream job might exist at some point.
At some point.
Encompassing all of this.
Yeah.
And when I took a step back from what I'd written, I realized that it already exists and it's Miss Universe.
You basically just, wrote your life into existence and we're working towards it. That's going to happen. So when, not if, when you snag the crown.
Amen. Amen.
When you snag the crown, what message do you want to be amplified afterwards?
That, especially to young women, that first of all, you don't have to limit yourself to one box, but you also don't have to wait for a position or a title or permission to make change.
Mm-hmm.
If you see an issue in your community that you are passionate about, regardless of whether you have status or money or a qualification, do what you can do, what's within your power to make that change. That's what I did during medical school, and now it's grown into something beautiful. So I really want to encourage everybody to do the same.
Amazing. Now, you touched on Slayed by Danielle.
Yes.
Talk to me about that, because we're still, unpacking Scrub the Stigma, and then we hear that you've got a whole natural hair business. What's that about?
Yeah, so it's more of a braiding business. Again, started during uni. Broke uni student and wanted to make some extra cash. So I started Slayed by Danielle because I braided my hair since I was about 16. And I'm pretty good, if I say so myself. And I started doing, my sister's hair, friends' hair, and they were like, you should actually start a business, start something. And as soon as I did, I kind of panicked, thinking, oh, am I good enough? Can I do this? Can I do that? I finally just, went ahead for it, and it's great. Some of my best friends started off as clients, and it's nice to see, every birthday hairstyle I've done for them.
You've done for them. It's just
so it's great to form that community in that way.
And you know how almost political the conversation about hair, especially Black women's hair, can get?
Yes.
So what do you think is very important about the work that you do in that regard? Because you've stood behind, the braids for a long time. So talk to me about that.
I truly believe that braids are beautiful. And I don't think that should be controversial to say, I feel my most beautiful when I'm in my braids or when I'm in my natural hair. And I love the, variability of it. We can switch it up in so many different ways. And I just think you should, wear what makes you feel the most confident. And for a lot of Black girls growing up, braids were seen as childish or, not sophisticated. You can't wear braids on your wedding. And I just never, related to any of that. So it's really nice to see women coming to me and say, I've never had braids before, or I haven't had braids since I was a child, but I saw your pictures and, now I love them, and they come back as well. So it's great.
It's really interesting because it's not something you see quite often, but I'm like, why not?
Why not?
So this question now I feel like is for me, but I'm just going to phrase it in a way that sounds like, oh yeah, it's for young girls everywhere. Sure. For someone who has multiple talents, any young girl listening to you now thinking, oh my God, she does so much and is exceptional at every single thing that she does. Is there a formula? Is there some type of, roadmap to achieving all of these things, to not getting burnt out, to still, thriving, doing well, showing up for the things that matter and the people that matter to you as well? Break it down.
As someone that has experienced burnout time and time and time again, it took a long time for me to learn how to manage everything while taking care of myself. And I realized that taking care of yourself has to be the foundation. That has to be your primary focus.
Okay.
Getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, moving your body, all of that is really important. And from there, you can build upon other things. Having boundaries is really important because when you are ambitious and multifaceted, you'll be pulled in so many different directions. People might want you right now, but you need to do something else. So it's important to know, what your goals are, what your aims are, being able to say no to things. I think that was something that took me a long time to recognize that, one opportunity might not be the last opportunity. I jumped at everything at a point.
Right.
And that really did lead me to burnout. And I'd say the final thing is recognizing that there are seasons.
Okay.
So I truly believe that women and everyone can have it all, but being able to prioritize and say, maybe this is the season for medicine. Maybe this is the season for pageantry. Maybe this is the season for business. And learning how to prioritize in those seasons so you don't have to let anything go.
So pretty much compartmentalizing, if you will,
100%.
just knowing when to move forward, when to pause a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, I'll write that down somewhere. Like I said, it's for the little girls that are listening that you might be multifaceted and want to follow in her footsteps, okay? So now let's go back to the pageant, right? What are your expectations, of course, outside of winning? Just talk to me about the process. What lies ahead?
I'm a very creative person. Obviously, I have the medicine side of me, but I have the artsy side of me as well. So I am hoping to compete in a way that hasn't been seen before. I've had, concepts and ideas and things for years that I can't wait to come out. And I also just want to really represent women across this country. I would love to win and to bring women's health to every state in Nigeria. I had the privilege of being asked by a first lady of a particular state, maybe we'll find out sometime soon.
We'll find out.
To deliver one of our Educate programs in that state. And I'm hoping that I can extend that around the country. So yeah, those are my main aims. And honestly, the support that I've received, I could not have anticipated. It has been a million times more than I could have ever imagined. And I'm so, so, so grateful for everyone that's joined the journey so far. And there's more to come.
More to come. Now, there's a very, very special bit of family history with this pageant. 35 years ago, your mother wore the crown.
Yes.
That you're running for.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels monumental. This sort of timing can't be orchestrated.
Okay.
I'd actually decided I wanted to compete in 2026 years ago, looking at my medical career and what I wanted to achieve in it before I, take a break and, step into pageantry. And it just so happened to coincide with my mum having competed 35 years ago and this being the 75th edition of
It all just seems divinely orchestrated, right?
And it being 25 years since we brought home the Miss World crown. So the timing just felt divine. But for my mum to have competed with, such grace, such elegance, and for me to see the aftermath of that, obviously she competed before I was born, but to see who she is, she's more than, someone that had a crown on her head. She wears the crown every day through how she is, through how she gives back, through how she serves, through how she dresses, she exemplifies what a queen is. So I've been so blessed to have that example all my life.
I mean, it is obvious because she's definitely molded and shaped you into the woman that we see today.
Yes.
And talk about a great example. So, so beautiful. Dr. Danielle, before I let you go, because I know you're super busy, right? Juggling a lot of things. But outside of everything that you do, once people think about you or hear the name Dr. Danielle Adeosi, what would you like people to remember? Or what would you like to come to mind?
I want them to instantly think she is for women and girls. Everything that she does in one way or another is to better the quality of life and the opportunities for women and girls.
Okay, all right. Wishing you the best of luck. When you snag the crown, we're expecting you back here.
I will be right back here.
So do come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stay tuned.